Welcome to Hot Women Wanted.
We're three childhood best friends who have been through it all and talk about it all.
Everything from hot flashes to hot takes to hot topics. So come join us. Hi, hotties. Welcome to Hot Women Wanted podcast, episode 24. I'm Julie Cola, joined by my fellow hotties, Julie Strauss-Greeley and Meredith Rush. And we have a special Nepo hottie joining our podcast today, Alex Young. Hi, Alex. Welcome to the podcast.
We love when we're joined by young people. Love it. Viewers out there, guess who Alex is related to?
Alex is a survivor savant, so we are going to have her take over that segment of the podcast today. We are excited.
We think we're at a good point in the season where some analysis is due, I think.
Yes, I agree.
And
but
there's quite a bit of chatter this week online about the show, so I think it's a perfect timing.
Totally. I'm just going to add to the intro of Alex. Alex is my middle daughter. She's the middle of three. She was, as I tell her all the time, she was the second in the womb. She was the second inhabitant. She wasn't the first.
And not the last.
And not the last. And Alex has been watching Survivor for a long time and has lots of opinions.
We are so excited about that. Okay, normally we do a temperature check in the beginning of the podcast, but because I sat in on a Zoom for the Let's Talk Menopause symposium, which they're calling a menoposium, I wanted to go over the highlights of what I learned. I didn't sit in for the whole. I want to be honest. I didn't sit in for the whole one because I had a doctor's appointment, but I did sit in for 2 hours of it. So these are the highlights that I saw from the Let's Talk Menopause Menopausium. So there was a lot of the great female doctors on there. I can't name them all. Dr. Mary Claire Hafer, who everybody knows, she's on social media, but a lot of well-known, renowned doctors, female doctors. So here was my quick takeaways. Women over 60 do not have to stop HRT. That's a myth. You can continue after 60. They were advocating for women continuing HRT after 60.
Good to know.
All women are different. And different ethnicities have different needs. So you have to really go and see what are your needs. But you have to advocate for yourself. As we know, everyone's journey is different and there's no one playbook for one person. Lifestyle, exercise, obviously takes a big play in all this. And the dreaded, limit your alcohol or don't have any was said. Which I was
my God.
I literally was like, la, 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 la.
That was a myth.
I refuse to believe it.
It's like dry the rest of your life. It's like
they were discussing the coverage is terrible for insurance companies, and it's
Mary, you know that.
We know that.
Yeah.
So you really have to speak up and you really have to advocate for yourself. They were very big proponents of GLPs for women. That definitely helps menopausal weight gain. So no shaming there for the menopausal woman.
Yeah.
A plant-based diet is definitely helpful, but it doesn't have to be all plant-based, but it's definitely helpful for menopausal women. Eating lots of fiber, as we all know. And they did not advocate for protein powders. They said, try to get your protein from natural. Don't go for those protein powders, which of course I do. And they said 100 grams of protein a day is not doable. It's not realistic. So
did they give us a number? Let's work with a realistic number.
They gave 50 as a realistic number.
Actually, a percentage of your weight. Like there's a calculation you're supposed to do. So it's not, we are far from 100. We're around 50, but you have to calculate something with your weight. Google it.
Yeah, but they said 100 grams it's unrealistic for a regular woman to hit that every day.
I thank you, Let's Talk Menopause, for speaking up on that, because the protein alone could kill you. I mean, listen, this is not for the faint of heart. That's all I have to say.
This part is for you. This is if you're taking HRT hormones, no transdermal progesterone. They said they were against that. Then they said microdosing estrogen vaginal for UTIs is very good. Also, bioidentical or synthetic, one is not better than the other. So whether you're using a bioidentical or synthetic HRT.
What are we on, Jules?
Synthetic. Duavi is a Duavi.
Some people think the bioidentical is better. They're saying it's not. It's all the same. Some people say oral is bad for you. It's not. Compound is very expensive. If you're doing a compound HRT, it's much more expensive. So, and pellets are a red flag. No pellets for anyone.
Oh, interesting.
I've actually heard that. Those are unregulated and actually very, very dangerous.
So those are the highlights of what I got from that. But I thought that was helpful.
Yeah. I went to one of their in-person events in New York, and it was fabulous. And that's where I found the brand womaness because they were giving away free samples at the event. And their table was fabulous. I met the owners, which we've talked about on a previous podcast, who are two women. I loved everything they had to say. I grabbed every sample in sight, of course. You know me, I'm a product, you know what. And I was like shoveling it into my bag. Needless to say, it is a brand I use every single day. Love it.
I'll give a shout out to our friend Marie Naxon, who works for Let's Talk Menopause, and her work partner is Samara. So, Samara leads the
and they have a social media presence, which Julie, you and I follow. But for any of our listeners, definitely look them up online. Follow them on Instagram. Great information just from their social media alone. So,
and I'm sure on the Let's Talk Menopause platform, you can probably find more about the Menopausium. So that was great. That was a great takeaway. So. Thank you. Let's talk menopause. And now we are moving on to, we're not doing hot flashback. We're moving that to the end of the podcast today, but we are going to go to a hot trend, and we're going to let our guest Hottie, Alex, do this segment because she has something I think is pretty interesting.
Okay, I'm very excited about this. It's called the Slate Electric Flosser. It says Slate on it. You can't see. But basically, if you talk to any dentist, in my experience, the water pick is not a replacement for flossing.
Correct.
So you actually need to tie the floss around your fingers and do the thing, which I absolutely hate doing. This is dentist approved. It is an actual little floss pick.
I gotta get this.
And when you turn it on, it vibrates. So it really gets in there and gets the stuff out from between your teeth. Have seen gum improvement since using this product.
Okay, I'm kind of obsessed. Do you have to replace the, I use the little picks, those picks?
Yeah. My dentist told me, I have a lot of crowns though, but they said they said not to use the picks. They're like, it's really bad if you've got crowns or fillings. So they said for me to go back to the old time floss, which I'm doing. And it's a pain in the neck. It's a pain.
It's a drag. It's a drag. So that one, do you have to replace the part?
It's not single use. It's kind of like once you get grossed out by it or it starts to get thin, you just pop this off and you can get replacements. It also has a tongue scraper on the back that's ribbed. I will say, Julie Greeley, it may have the same issues as the picks in some ways because I've never totally understood the gripe with the picks, but it is a similar.
I don't know. I think as long as it's a cord, I'm okay. I think if it's anything plasticky with a point, which is the one I was using that I really loved, my dentist this year, in fact, was like, whatever you're using, it's too rough on the gum. And, I have please, my mouth is like George Washington. I mean, wouldn't you? I didn't wear braces as a kid, even though I was dying for them, but I might as well have because every tooth in my head is a problem at this point, a total problem.
And wait, Alex, did you get that on Amazon? Can you buy that on Amazon?
I'm sure you can. I try not to buy from Amazon, so yes. I went to the actual site.
I think you can probably get it. Yeah.
What's the name of the product?
Slate, SLATE, and I believe they're on. I don't know if you guys use Shop, the Shop app.
Yeah, Shop app.
I'm pretty sure they're on there, so you could use your Shop Cash.
Oh, that's
Slate.
good.
Slate is great for the gums. There you go.
I love it. I'm obsessed with that. I'm definitely purchasing that.
I'm just going to put in a little plug. I know I get made fun of each time, but for my water pick, which is beyond, you can't give up flossing. I do floss too. But the water.
I don't have time for this. I mean,
my parents have used the water pick since the beginning of time.
I can't get through my day between the brushing and the flossing and then the water pick. I will never get out of that.
And then the supplements and the skincare.
All of the skincare that we all know I use, all of the lotions and potions. I will never exit my bathroom. I'm not doing the water pick. And also my dentist really did say a lot of people use the water pick thinking it's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Oh no, you have to floss. It's just to get the extra stuff out of the
It's so messy.
Floss doesn't get.
My parents swear by their.
I know my parents
love it.
I love my water pick.
Who wants to take Mara Jules? Who wants to take hot off the press?
All right, well, let's start with hot off the press. I'll take it.
Okay.
I feel like I'm in a little bit of a Jesse Solomon vacuum on hot off the press. So, I mean, I guess in one way we are talking about him. So maybe he's a genius somehow. I'm thinking not. I mean, I can't.
Not musical genius.
No, they have. Someone else has a good publicist.
Good point. Listen, he's in hot off the press this week because he was featured in Rolling Stone, and he is declaring himself the next Bruno Mars. I mean, what?
It's so embarrassing. It's ridiculous.
It's also really embarrassing if you listen to his music.
I mean, the comments on his Instagram are vicious.
He has released, I think, at this point, 2 songs, and they're almost unlistenable. And that's coming from someone who loves all kinds of music.
He literally thinks he's Elton John.
I'm not sure he can carry a tune. It's like,
I think you know what I think Jesse Solomon should do? Start a cabaret, because you don't need to sing for a cabaret. That is for sure.
He's got to take a page out of Luann's playbook, because she is printing the dollars with this cabaret. And I mean, next to Jesse Solomon, she's possibly the worst singer I've ever heard. So yeah, you're not wrong, Cola. You're 100% right. I mean, I don't get this. I don't know. Again, everybody's talking about it, so maybe this is the whole point: is like to keep himself in the press. I'm beginning
I guarantee you he'll be playing like a cabaret act at like the
that's
Carlisle.
what he wants. He wants like a cafe Carlisle crooner. Yeah. Like, first of all, you're too young to be a crooner. What are you, 20?
I actually think he's going nowhere fast. Like, really going nowhere.
It's not the sharpest knife in the drawer. I'm now beginning to think this is not. There's nothing's.
This is a weird move. It's a weird move. It's a weird pivot.
This is a really weird move. And then sticking with Summer House for a second, Imrul was not like part of the whole.
Let's just call him who he is. He's the orgy guy.
Yeah, he's the orgy, or whatever they call him, orgy man, orgy beast, orgy man, and he did not stay for the whole reunion, and he was not invited to the guys' dinner with Andy Cohen afterwards, which we talked about.
And we know he wasn't there.
No, he wasn't there
because we had boots on the ground in the form of Stephen Cardello.
He wasn't there, and he said it himself. He left the reunion early, so something went wrong.
Alex, just to tell you, the night of the reunion, they filmed, and Stephen Cardello was out at a restaurant.
Julie's husband. Yeah. For our listeners, Julie's husband. They may be like, who's Stephen Cardello?
And he had a sighting of Andy Cohen, Andy Cohen's kids, and the men from Summer House.
All the guys
from Summer House. Except for Imrul. So, I don't know. I don't get the feeling Imrul's coming back. No loss. I could care less.
The worst.
And then sticking with Real Housewives, we've got some info on the cast trip that's being filmed now for OC. And we've got talk that Katie Ganella, I think is how it's pronounced, I'm not sure, she did not go on the cast trip, which is to Amsterdam, by the way.
Oh.
That's a big one to miss.
Yeah, that is a really bad one to miss.
And supposedly it's because of a falling out with Emily Simpson, who we know from the reunion really gave her a hard time and was really pulling up a lot of stuff from her past and legal stuff. Not that it's not all public, it's public record, but so because of a falling out with Gretchen, who's come back to the OC this season, and Emily Simpson, supposedly, allegedly, that's the reason. So we'll see. There's a lot of infighting going on in all these casts. Like, people aren't talking on Miami, people aren't talking on OC. We heard people are not talking on SLC. So like, maybe it must shelf life
for cast shakeups.
Yeah.
Like, these women are getting old,
Yeah.
So are we, but you know, maybe it's time to for reboots.
Yeah.
And then I think the last one was, which I thought was really fun, that Howard Stern had Andy Cohen on his show this week, and Howard's a huge Housewives fan. It was doing like a deep dive with Andy Cohen.
Huge. And he was calling everybody by name, and he knew the latest and greatest. He was like, how do you like that chick that PK was with? He's like, one lucky guy. I was like, that was
Howard is a fan.
Howard is a fan. Okay, you guys, this is hilarious. I was at work today, and we have like a group chat on our team, and there's this adorable young girl who does our social media, and she had a birthday party, sharing her pictures, and she's like, oh, the theme of my party is make it nice. And I was like, it can't be. So I wrote in the chat, I'm like, is that like a Real Housewives of New York Dorinda Medley quote? Like, she came by my cube, she's like, I watch every season of every city. Like, do we need to talk? I'm like, oh girl, yes. So we do have fans in other
I feel another guest coming on there. Another guest from your world. Your world is all about this. I love it.
I know.
Meanwhile, I'm like scrounging for guests. I'm like, who wants to come on the pod? Other than when they're on the phone with me 5 minutes ago, they're like, no thanks.
And this is random. I'm just throwing this out there. I don't have it on our list. But there is some scandal going on with Olivia Culpa and her sister. Do you know what it's about?
They're not speaking.
But why?
All right.
Okay. All right.
Now, move on. Okay, Allie. Alex, we're gonna let you take over Survivor.
All right. Well, I have some notes. I have some notes. Okay, let's jump right in.
Do you want me to start you off?
Oh, sure, go ahead.
Okay, so this week on Survivor, we lost Star.
Who is a Star? We love Star.
We love Star.
Love Star.
Was she a great game player? No, she wasn't.
No.
Was she great comic relief? Sure was.
Yes.
Absolutely. And a good person, a good-hearted person. And
did you call Jeff Uncle JP? She sure did.
Multiple times.
And I loved it. And they loved it every time.
So, yes, so just as a reminder, that's who we lost this week. All right, moving into you, Alex.
Okay, well, first of all, there were 3 actually insane moments on this week's episode, I would say. One is during the immunity challenge, the close-up on Joe as he's finishing the challenge. Did you guys?
Oh, yes. And they stopped and they slow-moed it.
Oh, yeah. And there are flies going onto his face like he's going to get stung by a bee. Like, it feels like a full minute. They're just on Joe's face as he steps onto the platform.
It was almost like Mike Pence. Remember with the fly?
Yes.
I was like, he's going to get knocked off. Joe's going to get knocked off from that fly.
From a fly. I loved it. I actually was sitting there. I'm like, this is actually really cool. Like cinematography. Go Survivor. I'm like, who's in charge of this?
Yeah. And so Joe wins immunity after his epic close up. And the underdogs are wanting to target Joe. So their plan is foiled. Then basically Mary pitches pivoting to Kyle to Camilla. She goes to Camilla saying, let's pivot to Kyle. Kyle and Camilla are number ones. And so then it all flips and falls apart. And then it's Mary or Star. Another great moment. Star starts rapping.
Yeah, that was great.
She just, no strategy, no gameplay. She's like, you know what? It's me or Mary. I'm just gonna just spit some bars. Excellent. She did say on social media later, she knew the votes were on her and Mary, but she thought that it was going to be tipped toward Mary. She and Mary both thought that Mary was going home.
I would have sent Mary home. Mary's a better game. Star has no gameplay. It would have been so easy.
Play your shot in the dark. At least play your shot in the dark.
Yeah. I know. So, okay, here's my real thing. First of all, the strong meatheads are starting to really piss me off.
They're starting to piss everybody off. That's the chatter in the universe. They're kind of like, this is not the game. Like,
yeah, like the first rule of Survivor is like, don't say exactly what Eva said at Tribal, which is like, we're just picking them off one by one.
Oh, Eva.
Say that on Survivor. You can't say like, I feel comfortable. You should be playing. And same goes for the people on the bottom. Like Mitch, what are you doing? And putting your everything has gone wrong for him, and I understand, but you do not have the option to not make a move at 4-4 with that meathead alliance.
I agree.
The thing is, now they have the numbers now to get out Eva. If Eva's so cocky, she's not going to play her idol. She's not. She's so cocky. She's gonna be one of those people who goes home with all the idols.
I can't believe they haven't even tried to flush her idol.
I don't know that it's cocky. I think she's just guileless. I really do. I have to be honest. And I think it's a little bit symptomatic of where she is, and because she has said it in her solo interviews numerous times that she can't really read.
I don't think it's that.
Telling her the truth, and she can't really read sarcasm and this and that. And I just think, like, she didn't even realize that saying any other player on that whole set of 8, if they had uttered the same sentence that she uttered, that would have been full-blown cockiness. Notice Joe didn't say anything like that.
Yeah.
Mitch didn't say anything like that. Kyle didn't say anything like that. She doesn't know how that landed. She does not know, to the 3 jurors sitting there, that it really sounded like, we're just the strongest. We're going to go with the 3 of us to win. You know what I mean? I don't think it was cockiness. I think she does feel secure.
No, I don't think it's cocky. I think she feels very secure, and she should be secure. Right? No one has threatened her, and plenty of people have gone home with idols in their bags. Plenty of people.
So many.
I think she's going to be one of those people. I don't think she's going to play her idol.
I think she has enough people. I think Joe. It depends how comfortable.
How you started to. Are you guys hearing a echo?
No.
Okay, keep going.
It depends if Joe gets tripped up, because what needs to happen is Shaheen and Kyle, they're like, we're strategic players, maybe we'll flip, maybe we'll do something. And if they do that and Joe gets wind of it, he'll tell Eva. But I agree, I don't think Eva would necessarily pick up on it on her own. I mean, props to her for playing Survivor with autism. It's like the exact challenges she has are the challenges of Survivor. And I think
exactly.
If she makes it to the end, she has a great story. She's sitting with 3 advantages.
Three. I think she has 3.
Well, I bet you she gives one to Joe. She's going to play one for Joe.
You have a shot in the dark.
I thought she had.
They all have. Don't they all have a shot in the dark?
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to just know when to play it.
I actually think she will find out if her name starts to come up. I have a feeling Camilla will tell Kyle will tell Joe, and Joe will tell Eva.
I think Kyle needs to very carefully decide when he's going to flip on Joe, and he has to flip on Joe.
Yes.
Okay. Joe will win.
Here's what I think about where
so
people
we all
are
have to wait. So we all think that Joe is going home before the final 3. Yes.
Yes.
No, if he keeps winning immunity challenges.
If he keeps winning immunity, and I think if he's in danger,
he can't keep winning the immunity challenge. So they're going to give something that he can't win.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: it doesn't matter because he's not. I don't think he's compelling to the jury.
Yeah, I agree.
That's true. So you're saying even if he ends up in the final 3, he's not the one they're going to listen. I think if one of these not the Power Ranger group, like if any of these others, whether it's Mitch, whether it's Camilla, whether it's Mary, who I don't really think it'll be, I think that jury's going to vote for anybody but these strong people. I really think that it's going to be the underdog that's going to get the money.
I think if Eva's going to have a very good shot at winning.
Yes, I think
very good shot. And that's why they're not going to. No one's going to let Eva go to the end. They're not, because her story's too strong.
But right now she's in a very good position because if you make it to 4, you at least get a chance to make fire, and she has 2 advantages that keep her safe.
Right.
Yes.
But you have to play them.
She kind of can't get voted off if she plays her advantages. What are we down to? 7, or are we at 8?
We're at 7.
We're at 7. So yeah,
and she could win immunity.
She could. She could win immunity. Won immunity.
But think about it. She hasn't even thought to play her idols. It's not even a thought in her head.
Because she really is so safe right now. Why would she?
But that's when you play them. That's when you do it. That's when you do
If the bottom 4,
they don't have the numbers. They have the numbers to flip. There's more people that can flip on them.
Like revolutionaries or rebels or whatever they call themselves had actually gotten their act together, they should have been voting Eva.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And so she should have been somewhat.
It shouldn't have been Star or Mary. It should have been Eva.
And then Joe would have been. And then Joe would have been next.
They have a very weak bottom level. They don't know how to.
They missed it. Like, they totally missed it because she didn't have immunity. She was feeling so certain. They had her fully exposed. They might have missed their only opportunity to get her off.
And I think, like, the people at the bottom, with the exception of Camilla, have misread the entire game consistently. Mitch, I love Mitch. I think he's great. He has been wrong at every single turn. Same with Mary. Mary's rivalry with Say, who is one of the worst Survivor players we have ever seen. Mary's like, it's so fun to be powerful women fighting against each other. Like, no, you're both horrible and just misreading every single cue. And so then you
I can't get over Mitch. I honestly can't get over Mitch. I feel like Mitch comes back from every tribal council, and that's like, I feel like his shoulders are hunched, and he's always like, I didn't really see that coming. It's like, Mitch.
The only thing is Mitch is good. Mitch is good at challenges, though. He is.
He is good at challenges.
He's good at challenges.
And they genuinely like him.
That's true.
But they just have no understanding. Okay, last thing I'll say is I think that Kyle and Shaheen have an interesting and tricky spot because to prove their resume, they have to veer off from the strong people.
Yes.
But if they sit next to someone like Camilla, I think they're better off sitting next to Joe than Camilla because Camilla can say, I fought from the bottom. I was crafty. Nobody knew I was in with them.
Camilla has a great story. If
Camilla and Kyle, because nobody knows that they're attached. It's a great story.
Camilla and Kyle make it to the final 3. They have such a compelling thing
to say.
They will shock the jury. Like, you will see the jury's faces fall. Nobody has an idea.
Has it ever been done where there's a secret alliance.
I don't know Survivor like that,
Probably.
but I'm sure it has been.
I'm sure it has.
A lot of people have tried. I don't know if it's ever been successfully, like both of them in the final two. It's also tricky because often they turn on each other because they have basically the same story. So it's do they actually want to sit next to each other at the end?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not going to. It's going to be one or the other. I have a feeling Kyle's going to go before the end.
You think he's going to go before Camilla?
I think he might.
Joe very much likes Kyle.
Short on immunity, and I think I guess Camilla will fill him in if the other group is going to vote him out. Yeah.
I think Kyle though. Are you flipping, or are you just going to ride with Joe and Eva because you think you can beat them at the end?
I think he's got to flip.
He's going to flip. I think everyone's going to flip on Joe because they know Joe and Eva are too tight. So
I think this week is going to be something big.
If Joe loses the immunity challenge, I think he's out.
They may not. Well, no. If he loses the immunity challenge, she's going to give him.
She's going to protect him.
They're going to make it very far because of her two things. They're going to be strategically. If he doesn't win immunity, like they're going to start to use those between the two of them.
She's going to have to. Maybe they both have to.
Yeah.
Well, she only has one thing that's like she only has one idol. The other thing is
safety.
Oh, it's a double vote.
Without safety, without power.
Yeah. So basically, she can keep one person safe twice or two people safe once.
And both are transferable. You can transfer both to another individual.
Yes. I think so.
Yeah, she can say, I'm going to play it for Joe and I'm going to walk out.
Yeah. Okay, I got it.
Okay, so assuming Joe or Eva goes, then you think Camilla and Kyle come after each other? Or like, because my thing is if I'm Kyle, I don't want to sit next to Camilla. So I almost would rather go with Joe. I might go for Eva and then sit next to Joe.
Maybe.
I think you're right because Camilla, no one's going to, I don't know. It makes Camilla look like a mastermind.
It does.
She kind of is. She kind of is.
She kind of is.
I think.
What do you guys think about all this chatter that's been out in the media, like saying like the show is really missing it on the editing? They're not showing, like they're spending so much time just focusing on this like power group, and they're not showing any of the friendships and any of the relationships, and like a lot of the like online Survivor whatevers are really talking about how much they're not liking this season.
Yeah, I showed you that yesterday.
It's kind of been true since the new era started. And I do agree with the overall critique of the new era, which is, they're throwing in too many twists that are ruining the gameplay. Like when you split the tribes, they merge and then you split them again into random groups of 5 and they both have to vote somebody out. It messes up all the strategy and makes it kind of feel random. And even to an extent with like the shot in the dark or the thing that they did for a few seasons in the new era where they said first person who loses at immunity has to do that random like basically pick a box, one of 3 boxes, and if you pick the wrong one, you're eliminated. People don't like that kind of thing because they want to see the strategy play out.
Yeah, play out.
I don't necessarily think this season is worse. I think the initial tribe that Cedric and Mary were on was very, very weak. Like nobody on that tribe was a good game player, and nobody was a challenge beast.
Nobody.
And I think that is an annoying and unfair way to start. I like that they tribe swapped. I think the production, it's like we can never know the full story, so it is hard to know.
And it's like you don't know what you're not seeing. I mean, you're obviously they're filming 24/7. There's only so much they can do, and narratively, this is what the season broke down to. The story is the superpower, super alliance versus everybody else. So like,
and by the way, that happened a few seasons ago. The season that D won, there was a core 4 that all the other tribes cannibalized themselves, and they made it to the end, and D won.
Yeah.
And it was a very similar narrative. It wasn't quite the like meathead thing, but I don't see anything particularly within the new era to complain about this season. But I don't look into all the like these online people like there are these hours long podcasts and interviews, and I don't consider.
Yeah, no, I don't.
I'll be honest. I would like to see Eva win. I think that would be super cool.
I would love that.
But they would be pretty dumb to keep her in. I mean, I just think it's dumb. She
Well,
has
people
such a
are
tight
also
alliance.
saying like the production people obviously put the advantage in her set of what was it, fries or nacho chips or whatever. It wasn't like a communal bowl, and she just happened to spot it. It was the little thing.
But they do that every year. That's always in the food. People see it or they
don't. But the commentary is, why give it to her? She already had all these advantages.
Right.
She's already a physical strength. Why not give it to Camilla? Why not give it to Mary? You know.
Yeah.
Like she picked it. They didn't have her. It didn't have her name. They didn't know she was going to pick it, did they?
Oh, I thought it was at her seat, like where she sat. I thought it was no. They had named that reward. They were told where to sit.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
You complained last season about Rachel, getting one of her advantages at the auction, although it is a little bit more random.
Yeah, that is reminiscent. That was reminiscent.
Yeah.
I will say one other thing, which is Star saying at Tribal about Mitch, he didn't stutter. Iconic moment. I could not believe she said that. She said, he told me to play my shot in the dark, and respectfully, he didn't stutter.
Well, awesome. That stuttering could be a nervous, it could lead up with nerves, you know what I mean? So
that was her point.
That's her whole point, that he was like saying her very securely, like, play your shot in the dark, you're going.
Yeah.
And she said, and yet went home with it in her pocket. Like,
I couldn't believe it.
Anybody has any advantages that they would like to play, they were all literally hilarious.
I think the reason she didn't do it is because if it was going to be close, like 4-3 or whatever, you don't get to vote if you do the shot in the dark. So if she thought it would cause a tie or something.
Oh, maybe. Okay. That's true. Yeah, that's true. You lose your vote. Yeah. Anyway, she's going to be funny on the jury, and I cannot get over the David. I keep calling him Dave. The mugging on the jury.
Oh my God, the anger.
That was great editing. Great editing.
Angry.
By the way, he was also part of the jocks. So they actually had a 5-4. Yeah. And so I'm like, Mary, you're upset David got voted out. Like, you are not playing this game. You're not seeing the macro dynamics here.
Not at all. Not at all. Terrible game player, truly. Like, the fact that she's gotten as far as she's gotten is really unbelievable.
But I would still vote her out next. Oh, maybe no. If I were her, I'd get Joe out. They have to get Joe or Eva out if they want to win.
If I were anyone, I'd be like, I'll sit next to Mary, sure.
Exactly.
That's true. That is true, because they're going to take home the money. It's not going to be Mary.
They should have kept Star.
Mary.
I would have kept Star over Mary.
Yeah, maybe.
Star's a terrible player, and she's terrible at challenges.
Oh my God, the challenge they were trying to do with building the word immunity, Star literally was just like, you could see in her face, she was kind of like, can I just sit down? Because I'm definitely not going to win this. And
you can tell from her personality that it's the type of thing that she just cannot do.
No, and it was like Cedric, back in the Cedric days. Like Cedric,
oh my God, I wish I had been on the pod in the Cedric
like,
say.
Yeah, I can't climb that one. I can't climb that one. I'm like,
Cedric can say.
Anyway, it's good, everybody. Good analysis, Alex. Love it.
Excellent. Let's move on, guys, to Summer House.
Oh, God.
It's another week of Jesse is messy.
Jesse is messy.
We already touched on Jesse and like everything. I mean, he's just
that's the whole show. Really, it's Jesse and Lexi's show right now.
This is why I said what I said, because I honestly don't think he was connecting the dots. Like, she can't be spelling any of this out more clearly for him. The housemates are spelling it out for him. West is even spelling it out for him. Yeah. Like, everyone is like telling him what he did wrong, apologize, and then he shows up at her apartment midweek and he's like, can we talk about it? It's like, what's to talk about? Like, I've laid the crumbs. Like,
but here's the bummer. I saw next week's episode. She takes him back.
Yeah.
You saw next week's episode?
No, there's a clip.
No, I mean the preview. It's not preview.
Yeah.
And she takes him back.
They show up next weekend back together.
That's a bummer, because she really let him have it. She kind of read him for filth. It was really good. I actually loved it.
And also the episode ended with her saying, like, I just don't think we have enough of a connection. It's like, you should have ended it there. Done.
Yeah.
Oh my God, honestly. So that's what the whole. It's kind of like.
Can we talk about Carl's cringe with Sarah? I was dying. I'm like, what are you doing? She was so nice about it. She was extremely kind about it.
If there isn't a week where I am cringing from Carl, he makes me.
Every scene.
He just tugs at my heartstrings. It's like, and he's such an older man. Like, Carl.
45.
Carl.
I know, but he has no game.
Carl's not 45, but he's close.
Is he 42? Is he 40?
He's north of 35. Is all.
Will you do some Googling?
Sure.
Carl from Summerhouse, how old is he?
But I mean, it's like 1 week after another. It's such a cringe.
He's
Such
40.
a cringe.
Oh, he's 40.
He's
Okay.
40.
All
Okay,
right.
and then I have written in my notes, why was West dressed like Ebenezer Scrooge at the party?
Because it was like, I don't know, I guess it's like snooze fest. I don't know.
It was a beer. I was like, and I'm like, and the girls still go for it. I'm kind of like, what
The girls
is
were
that?
loving it, and even like the Paige, the Summer House Gigweed squad, which is Paige and Ciara and Amanda, were watching them do. They're like, oh, he's doing the limbo with the candle. They were like, he was like holding that candle all night. It was like a real candle.
Wait, we have to talk about what's his face? Jesse said about Ciara. Oh, when everyone said, oh, you said, oh, if Wes didn't go for you first, I would have gone for you. He's like, I only said that to make her feel good.
Oh,
Like,
I'm
honey.
like,
that's what
Ciara,
I'm
the
saying.
model,
Is
the hot nurse.
That's what I'm saying. Is he just a fucking moron?
No, I don't think he's a moron. I think he's a dick.
No, I just feel like
I don't think he's a
Ciara
moron.
needs your help, please.
Yeah.
I don't think you're giving him too much credit as the moron. I think he's a dick.
I think he's stupid.
I don't think he's stupid. I actually think he knows exactly what he's doing.
He's like jokey, and that was fun last season with him and Wes. They're funny. They're genuinely funny. They are funny. He does have some funny lines. He does. And West has some funny lines. And the get-ups with West, I think, are hilarious. And their banter is hilarious. But like,
I think it's funny unless you're sleeping with them. Because if you're sleeping with them, they're dicks.
You know who gets my rose for this episode? Rose and Thorn. I mean, Thorn is Jesse. Guess who my rose is? And I'm ashamed to say it, but I'm going to say it out loud.
Carl?
Good old Schwartzy. It was, I gotta tell you, it was good to see him. And he played it perfectly. Tom Schwartz was such a welcome breath of fresh. And he played it perfectly. He was funny. He was funny with the girls with the pink, like, sleeping mask. He was fun. He was fun and funny.
I didn't need him. And he's showing up at every show. It's like, where's Waldo?
Well, clearly, because he's, like, trying to make a living off of Bravo.
I was like, why is Tom even here? He has no role.
I thought it was weird.
No. Oh, wait, no. If you were watching Summer House and Winter House for years, he is really good friend, like genuinely, off camera and on camera, really good friends with a lot of the guys, and he's really good friends with Kyle.
That's fine. That's fine. I just thought to the episode he added zero. Like
I liked it. I thought it was funny.
I didn't need it.
I thought his reactions were funny. I thought his stuff with the girls in the morning were funny. And they were like, he was like, yeah, we used to be one big happy family in LA. And then we weren't. It's like really funny. It was funny. I liked him. I don't mind him popping up on the Valley either. Like, I'm not minding him.
I don't mind it. I just don't know that he adds anything.
He adds zero on the Valley. You don't need him on the Valley.
No, you don't need him. You won't need him on the Valley.
Let's go to the Valley. Let's go to the Valley.
Okay,
men behaving badly, 2.0, 3.0, 5.0. What the hell?
Terrible.
I wrote depraved and busted.
I like that.
What'd you write?
Instead of Dave and Buster's, depraved and busted.
Oh, that's funny. I like that. That could be title of that.
These men are so toxic on this show. That group chat, and first of all, there's like 20 guys in that group chat.
And my favorite thing is like Jason's not in the group chat because he has an Android.
That doesn't seem.
And it's like the best was like all the like reality TV commenters this week were like, I don't know, do you love Jason because he's not in the group chat, or do you hate Jason because he's not in the group chat because
he's an Android?
It's like, would you not date him? I'm like,
Jason was like, thank God I'm not in the group chat.
Yeah.
I'm so happy not to be in the group chat.
What is this stupid group chat with 20 plus people, and it's all they do is talk disparagingly about women? These men are Neanderthals.
Can you imagine putting in a group chat that your soon-to-be ex-wife,
mother of your child,
mother of your child,
you have a child together forever,
was sleeping with somebody for $1,500 a night? By the way, is it true? Probably not. I think he just said it to say it.
No, I don't think so. I think he was covering his ass at the moment. He's a snake in the grass. He is so snaky, and he realized he was caught, and so he was like, "No, there's been a mole in the group chat, and I have to figure out."
Yeah, that was covering himself.
I'm trying to sniff out the mole. I'm like, right.
It's just like, have they learned nothing? Like, you can't. You cannot do that in this day and age and not get caught. Especially
everyone screen grabs. I mean, forget it. You can't.
Exactly.
That lives on forever.
And also, what the hell? Why is Luke the one bringing story? Like, Kristen Doty's, I don't know, baby daddy, boyfriend. Like, he's the what?
Wait, who's the one who's the star that I didn't know about?
He was a child star. You're giving him an awful lot. He had a guest appearance on
Danny. That's
Zack and
Danny.
Cody.
Danny.
He was like a walk-on in Zack and
No,
Cody. He's not exactly Robert Redford.
In all honesty, he was he was a Disney kid. He was a Disney.
Wait, who is this? What's his last name?
Danny.
He's the husband to Nia. Nia?
Yeah, right. Google that.
Miss America or Miss something. She was Miss America, right?
She's on the valley now.
Wasn't Nia Miss Universe or Miss America?
I don't know.
She's a Miss America. She's a Miss Universe. Or she's one of those. She's a pageant girl.
And
I don't know. She's a pageant girl.
He was like a Disney kid, but he was like Zack and Cody at sea. Remember that season? He's like on the boat, the Tipton Hotel. It's like it's all like seared into my brain from my kid. But you guys nobody is anybody on this pod watching? Anybody on the screen watching The Righteous Gemstones?
No.
Is anybody? Oh, okay. It's a Danny McBride show. I live for Danny McBride. He is absolutely hilarious. Every show he writes is hilarious. This is the final season. It's 4 seasons or 5 seasons on HBO. Righteous Gemstones. It's making fun of these megalith churches, the Christian churches with like the families. Everybody's making money and whatever. Okay. The guy from Pitch Perfect, Adam Devine, who's a fantastic comedic actor, who's been in Office Space and a million funny things. He plays a character on the show named Kelvin, who is a gay youth minister. It is it is so hilarious. First of all, his whole journey, but he looks exactly like Danny on the Valley, and somebody online on TikTok, I'm going to put them side by side. It is like, and they put him in these crazy costumes, and it's literally what Danny is wearing. It is so funny. You guys have to check it out. It's so
we didn't even talk about the fact that he was creepy with the lesbian couple, which is weird. And he had to apologize for being touchy with them.
And also, why aren't we seeing that? Where's the footage?
Where's the cameras with that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he apologized on camera though, and it was embarrassing. It was awkward.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm noticing our time. We're a little hot.
Let's move on to closing hot take, and our closing hot take is going to be a hot flashback.
Okay, and we've teased this one for weeks for our regular hotties.
Coined one of the best phrases ever. At least we think.
Take it away, Mare.
Okay, chime in as much as possible because this is actually our story.
Well, yeah, I was hoping you were pulling up to my house that day, but go ahead, tell her.
and then I was hoping one of you would be pulling up to my house someday.
Al, do you know the story?
I do, yes.
Okay. So it was my 17th birthday. It happened to be Yom Kippur, which is why I think I got the bad luck that I got. I went and
that's controversial, but okay.
I think I got bad luck because on Yom Kippur I was supposed to be home fasting, and I went and I took my driver's test. And I go and I'm so excited, and I practiced. My parents bought me like driving lessons, like I did it all.
Driving lessons. They bought you a sports car with a bow on it.
In your driveway with a giant bow.
Yes, a bow in my driveway that I never got. I didn't get to drive for 2 weeks. There were rule followers too. All of a sudden in my life, there were rule followers. I'm like, this is interesting. But anyway, I go, I get into the car. What I have now learned about myself much, much later is that I panic under pressure repeatedly on tests, on anything you put in front of me. I panic and I fail. Like that's the way it goes. My brain goes offline. Anyway, I'm parallel parking. I fly over the cone. The old driving guy is like, "You just hit a pedestrian." I'm like I was 17 years old. I'm like, "What?" And then it was a cone, of course. But he made me switch seats with him. And he drove the car back to the station where I had to then call my dad, hysterically crying that I failed my driving test. Okay, so I get home. Cole and I lived, I don't know, quarter of a mile from each other. So I start walking. Yom Kippur.
And I was peering out my window because I knew Mary had a brand new car waiting for her. And I said to my mom, I can't wait. Mary's going to pull up in her brand new car after her test. And then my mom's like,
TikTok.
Mary walking up the block? I'm like, no, that can't be Mary. She's going to pull up in her new car. Sure enough.
Ding dong. Sobbing at Julie Cola's doorstep, sobbing. And so, and I said, this is what I said through my tears. She's like, well, so? And I'm like, 17 and still a pedestrian.
Best line ever. We used it every second we had, we're like, well,
and the line would live on because a week later it was my birthday, and I failed my driving test a week later and walked over to Mary's house, and I said, well, I'm 17 and I'm still a pedestrian.
And guess who wasn't a pedestrian? And guess who was driving you idiots around all fucking fall? Because I was like, what in the hell? Can somebody else drive into the city on a Saturday night? I was like, a taxi service.
I mean, let's just.
By the way, it wasn't 2 weeks. You guys had to wait a month.
No, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I remember, believe me, this was the
Julie, who didn't take the test, is telling us when we took it again.
I felt like a month. Julie, did you wait a month? Somebody waited a month.
No, we both took it 2 weeks later.
And I will say, just to go back to this point, and maybe I'm using our podcast as a little therapy right now, but like my parents had 0 rules. Hottie's out there, 0 rules. I came and went as I pleased. I was never home. All of a sudden, there's a car in the driveway with a bow on it. And my parents are like, I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to drive that at all. I'm like, what? What do you mean by that? They're like,
I almost got my license.
It's cool. I was like, oh, so now we're interested in rules.
Oh my God, that was hilarious. 17.
It was a great hot flashback. I love that story.
Still a pedestrian. We say it all the time.
Hot flashback. Love it.
All right.
All right. Well,
Alex.
I have to give a big thank you to our Nepo Hottie, Alex. Love
you, Alex.
Love your
Thanks
thoughts
for
on
having
it.
me, Hotties.
I don't know where I stand for this week. I'm not sure who's going to be there, who's not. We'll see. We love having guests, so join us.
Super fun.
Yep.
We'll have to check back in after the final
We
tribal.
will. We will.
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
Maybe you'll come back for a guest appearance
Yes, at the finals.
at the finals.
All right, guys.
So fun, hotties.
Okay. See you next week.
All right. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok,
All
wherever
the
you listen to your favorite
socials.
podcasts.
I think we're
Follow,
making
like,
appearance
and
on YouTube. Hopefully, you'll actually be able to see us.
Mare, solve that problem.
Yeah, man.
Solve that problem.
This is the week.
Bye, hotties.
Bye, guys.